Most of us on the crew are parents and have young kids, and I think that's part of who we are, and we think about that. But more importantly, it's about the scale of the story. So, for instance, is it necessary, and is it narratively significant, and is it warranted? If you can answer those questions, and you feel you need something that could be shocking or violent, then what's the most artful way to handle that so that you don't alienate the audience? And I think that with this film, yes, of course, Thanos' chop at the top was a tricky one. We tried to handle it the way that we thought was best, but part of the story is Thor dealing with something that he really shouldn't maybe have done. I mean, he loses it a bit there, and I think it's also shocking, and it's also final, at least for Thanos in that timeline. So it's like it seemed to make sense. But yeah, we're always mindful of that sort of thing. I think that also, with some of the violence in the fighting and in the battle sequences, I don't want to say there's a difference in terms of there's an unreality to these movies. They are in a science fiction fantasy context. So there's a level of that is slightly abstracted from what is real. And so you still want them to have sort of a visceral impact. You want the characters to feel it. But at the same time, people are doing things that people sometimes cannot do. That said, never want to be ghoulish, or we're not trying to celebrate it, and we're also trying to make sure that there's consequences to it. And I think that's one of the things I like a lot about Endgame, is that you can watch these superhero movies, the ones that have real consequence. We lose people in this movie, people that we care about, we've followed for years as a story arc. But the feeling of loss, it's real. They're gone. They're not coming back. This isn't they're not going to come back by some magic, spell in another future film. So it's very much like you have to say goodbye, and that shows the consequence of those actions. And I think that's actually something that drama does for all of us, is we get to experience consequence and emotion that we would experience in real life, but experience it in drama. It's a way to sort of see what that feels like, in a safe place.